Jesus' idea of faith is not the simple formula of the more faith you have, the more power you can release. I don't believe that's the New Testament message on faith. Otherwise, I don't think Jesus would have said, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. I think he would have said, if you have faith the size of mountains, you can move mountains. If the more faith you have, the more power you'll see happen is true, then the more faith you have, the more you see happen, Like it's pretty obvious that he's teaching something different than that when he talks about a mustard seed sized amount of faith. Okay. I remember we had a Holy Spirit night here years ago, and Wilson and I were, again, I mentioned him, my best friend. Wilson and I were on the prayer team, and this guy came up to us, and as I'm standing there getting ready to pray for this guy, I had a lot of faith to see stuff like headaches, hurt shoulders, and hurt backs healed. I was early on in my journey of pressing into the healing ministry, and I was pumped for someone with lower back pain to come up so I could pray for them and see them healed. I'd see that healed. I had a lot of faith that would happen. I would have had no doubt that they would have been healed as they stepped up. Instead, the guy that came up had mouth cancer, and it was stage 4, and he was worried about dying. And in that moment, my faith, if it was a blown up balloon, it became a shrunken balloon or whatever, a deflated balloon. My faith was completely deflated in that moment. And I remember just standing there listening to him. Fear came over me, like, he's not really going to get healed from his cancer right now. There's no way. But I was like, you know what, Lord? This is all happening kind of as he's talking, and I'm listening to him, but I'm also dialoguing with the Holy Spirit. Like, you know what, Lord? You say in your word, you heal today. And even though it's really hard for me to believe that this man's cancer is about to get healed, I'm just going to scrape together enough confidence in you to pray for him and see what happens. Well, we prayed for him. He told us, hey, that was crazy. I felt intense heat in my mouth where the cancer was, and then left. And I'm like, okay, well, that sounds good so far. Get a call later that week, went into the doctor, all the cancer was completely gone. All the gone. And as I reflect on that testimony, what I see is that I didn't need to have great faith and expectation and confidence in the outcome. I just needed to scrape together a mustard seed amount of faith and then let God take that and do what he wanted to do with it. You remember the story where Jesus feeds the 3,000? He doesn't need buckets and buckets of fish and loaves to do that. He just needed 5 loaves and 2 fish. And I think that's actually a good picture for us when we're thinking about faith. We don't have to have great faith to see a great miracle happen. All we have to do is scrape together just a mustard seed amount. And that's all that God needs in order to do what he wants to do in that moment.